Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to Being Conscious. In the continuation of our series, where we are talking about the different modalities of consciousness and how each planet influences the characteristics, the traits, and the consciousness of a human being. In today's series, we are going to talk about the North Node and the South Node. The North Node is popularly known as planet Rahu. Now, when we talk about planet Rahu, this is a planet which is considered the king of Kali Yuga, meaning this is a planet which is responsible for all the deceit, for all the manipulation, for all the things which are able to distort reality. Now, when we talk about distortion of reality, we normally take it in a negative way. When we talk about manipulation, when we talk about creating a bubble of illusion, we normally take that as a negative connotation. While that is mostly negative, but let's understand from a positive perspective. Let's understand this from a higher viewpoint. Now, Rahu is basically representing the smoke, right? So, we really now, this is also a very beautiful concept here that most of us are stuck in smoke. Most of us are stuck in illusions. If I ask you what is the biggest source of illusion in this Kali Yuga, what would you say? I would say that's social media. Because in social media, we are constantly in a rat race where we constantly compare everyone, and we look at our lives and have a comparison with the other world, other people, and start feeling less, right? So this is a popular phenomenon called FOMO, fear of missing out. Now, fear of missing out is a common phenomenon, especially when we are an addict of social media. Understand this, that what you are seeing in social media is hardly the truth. The truth is way beyond. It's not necessary that whatever you're seeing on social media is the absolute truth. The truth is that people want to sell their best lives in social media. They want to sell their best lives in social media. I repeat that with absolute conviction at my disposal. The reason I repeat that with so much conviction is there are people are used to project their best sides, and social media is designed to make you feel inferior. Social media is designed to make you feel inferior. Focus on that point. And we are used to having the self-worth, we are used to reduce the level of our self-worth through this mindless comparisons. So now we will talk about the positive side of it. Now I want to narrate the story of Thomas Alva Edison and how he experienced the greatest catastrophe, the greatest fire in his whole life work. So when Thomas Alva Edison observed that blazing fire which is created on that particular building, his son was standing right next to him and he was completely devastated. He was terrified with the slot. He was so much so terrified that when he looked at it, he told his father that all our life's work is burning. How is it possible that you are calm and you are having a smile on your face? Then Thomas Alva Edison, with a brief pause, told him that we just burned all our mistakes of all our past and now we can have a fresh beginning. Now that is the side of a positive Rahu. That is the side of a positive North Node. How you perceive reality, how you process reality. Rahu also represents the five senses: what you see, what you hear, what you speak. So these five senses are governed by Rahu. Now, how you process reality, how quick is your perception, how quick is your focus. That is also denoted by planet Rahu. When you are constantly focusing, when you have an undivided sense of focus, when you have an undivided sense of attention span, a neurobiological circuitry is quite sharp, that means you have a very good Rahu. And your ability to perceive reality in a positive way, if you can perceive reality, if you can perceive the worst of situations in a positive way, that means you have a great Rahu. You have the ability to bend reality. You have the ability to not take things personally, and you have the ability, the rare air ability to create value out of whatever current circumstances you are currently in. Whereas, if you have a negative Rahu, you will always interpret the slightest discomfort as catastrophe. You will always interpret the slightest discomfort as catastrophe. Whereas, if your Rahu is working well, you have the capability, the ability to change the way you process reality. That is the power of a positive Rahu. Now, when positive Rahu is activated in your life, you are having an insatiable hunger for growth, for expansion. And especially when this Rahu has the support of a positive Mercury, this person becomes unstoppable, because this person is constantly working on his skills, is constantly working on how he can become a better version of himself. And this is the reason why a positive Rahu is always powerful. It creates tectonic shifts. The reason it creates tectonic shifts is the ability to articulate, the ability to create a purposeful communication, a purposeful discussion is extremely articulate. Now, when your Rahu is not working so well, what you tend to do is you are always processing reality in the most negative ways. Now, what that really means is, let's say that you are a batsman and you are trying to become a great batsman, right? And in the process of becoming a great batsman, you are practicing with every shot. You see that you're missing the shot. Now, a person with a negative Rahu, he will give up, right? He will fail a couple of times, and then he says that I'm good for nothing. He will stop. But the person with a positive Rahu, what he does, he doesn't stop. He fails once, he gets up 4 or 5 times. He gets 4th or 5th time and starts batting. That's the power of a positive Rahu. Whereas when your Rahu is negative, what happens is you are not able to take success, you are not able to overcome the sense of failure. But now, if Rahu is working well, you know that no matter how many times I fall down, I will get up again. I'll get up again with twice the force, twice the conviction, and I will bat with great proficiency at my disposal. That is the power of a positive Rahu. Now, if you talk about the example of Shah Rukh Khan, he is a person who's very prolific in his acting skills. And there's a lot of intensity in his eyes. The ability to focus on his art, on his skill is so intense, so powerful that he constantly works on himself to such a level of precision and to such a level of articulation that he is constantly getting better and better. So that's the case of a powerful Rahu. That's the case of having a Rahu in a positive condition. Now, since this video is less short, right, let me talk about the south node of moon. Let's talk about Ketu as another correlation. Now, the south node of moon is called Ketu, and that represents our subconscious mind. That's whatever is stored in our subconscious memories. Now, Ketu is essentially having the roots, right? So we have the roots, and the roots of the tree are there. Now, what the Ketu does is basically it's all about the subconscious memories, the way we process reality, the way we engage Now, what do you mean by subconscious reactions? The way you breathe, the way your heart functions, the way your digestive system functions. The digestive fire functions, the liver, the juice you secrete from your liver. Now, if I ask you this, do you control the digestive juices from your stomach? Do you control the bile juice which is secreted from your liver? The answer would be no. There's a subconscious intelligence which is being operated in all these vital organs. Now imagine what would happen if you would not be if you would have conscious control over your breathing. Imagine what would happen if the control of your breathing was not in your subconscious but in your conscious. What happens in such as what would happen? We would probably kill ourselves to death. We would probably choke ourselves to death. The reason why we would choke ourselves to death is we would not be competent enough or capable enough to have the right rhythm in breathing. But now, since we have a very proficient rhythm in breathing, since this is all handled by the subconscious mind, now it doesn't really not there in our control. So there's an automatic intelligence. Another precise example of this phenomena is when you eat food, you don't voluntarily release bile juice. It happens by default. That happens by default. Now the reason that happens by default is there's an innate intelligence inbuilt. There's an innate universal intelligence inbuilt in our system. And this is the reason why it is secreted by default. Now, why this is happening, why this intelligence is happening is because every organ in our body is driven by a subconscious intelligence. And all the different emotions in our body are having a direct correlation with the subconscious intelligence. Now, this is also the reason why our breath monitors our emotions, our thought processes. Because the rhythm of our breath changes the way we process reality. And this is the reason why all powerful techniques, why all powerful breathing exercises, which is given by the Art of Living Foundation or Inner Engineering or any other powerful spiritual organization, is because they have a direct influence in the subconscious. And breath is the fastest way to transform one's consciousness. Because breathing, the rhythm of your breath, is so important to control reality. Lord Shiva, when Lord Ma Parvati was asking Lord Shiva that how do you control reality? So Lord Shiva said, I don't control reality, I manage the breath. I manage the cycles of the breath. Through managing the cycles of the breath, I can shift reality. So when I change the cycles of the breath, I am able to manage reality as per my accord. Have you ever noticed that when you are in a state of fear, when you are in a state of acute paranoia, your breathing is shallow. Your breathing is automatically shallow. And when you are in a state of grounded peace, your breathing is deep. But in this particular context, I would like to say that the breath is the fastest way to change your emotional condition. And when you are able to alter or manipulate your breath, you can directly change your emotional variation, your emotional conditioning. Breath is the highest subconscious intelligence which is inbuilt in our system. And the greater you have the mastery over your breath, the more powerful your subconscious intelligence becomes. And this is the reason why Ketu is also called the subconscious intelligence. The more you are able to hold your breath, the stronger your mindset becomes, the stronger your subconscious intelligence becomes. And remember one thing, Ketu represents the roots of the tree. So if you take the analogy of a tree, Ketu represents the roots, while Rahu is the fruit from the tree. Now what this really means is, when you are able to water the roots, the tree gives a good fruit. So this is the whole context of understanding the dichotomy of the planets. So this is the whole understanding, the whole insight which I had to present in the south node and the north node of moon. Hope my video was insightful. If you like the video, do share and subscribe to my channel, where we are going to talk about different elements of consciousness and how each planet and each deity is related to a particular state and level of consciousness. Thank you so much, and I'll meet you in the next video. Bye.